Double R is now at Radio Bandido, an informative program that tackles all issues concerning all walks of life, delivering hottest issues and events, with health consultations on air and a lot more, with your host veteran newsman Ricky Sunga and master entrepreneur Ruel So. Double R sa Radio Bandido every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. You can catch Double R on DZRJ 8:10 a.m., Radio Bandido TV Channel 224, TV Plus boxes, and streaming live on Facebook/DZRJ 8:10 a.m. and YouTube channel DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Radio Bandido. Welcome the newest addition to our lineup of explosive anchors, a veteran broadcaster, a sports news anchor, race car driver, columnist, and reporter, Ira Panginiban and his program Free Spits. Free Spits, a parody of free speech, a right we always abuse. Free Spits, freewheeling discussions, no holds barred. Free Spits, the real sentiments of the Filipino people. Free Spits and Ira Panginiban, Monday to Friday from 5 to 6:30 p.m. on Radio Bandido TV, Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, GMA Afforda box, and all DTT boxes. Also heard on DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Also seen on Facebook/DZRJ 8:10 a.m. and YouTube channel DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Radio Bandido. Bangon na! Tanghali na! RJ na! The Observer Pusong Minero is a radio program that tackles political, current events, consumerism, and environment issues. It also tackles news and issues on responsible mining, its contribution to our country and communities in terms of social, health, and environment. The Observer Pusong Minero, hosted by Felix Tambongco, every Saturday from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. on Radio Bandido TV, Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, free-to-air Channel 29, Facebook.com/DZRJ 8:10 a.m. and on YouTube, DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Radio Bandido. The mystical, the magical, and the occult, made easy by G and Marge Santos on Mystical Buffet, aired every Saturday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. This program gives insights and guidance in the world of essential spirituality and wisdom of the ages. Its aim is to share extraordinary topics to everyday lives of ordinary people. Walk with them in a mystical, alternative, and less than ordinary path of life. Watch them every Saturday on Radio Bandido TV, Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, digital free-to-air Channel 29, Facebook.com/DZRJ 8:10 a.m. and YouTube channel DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Radio Bandido. Chit Chat with Double V with host Vivian Velez is a program that breaks down important national concerns, events, and stories, featuring newsmaker interviews and compelling features to add context, clarity, and answer the questions on your mind. Every Sundays from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. on Radio Bandido TV, Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, GMA Afforda box, Easy box, and all DTT boxes. Simulcast on DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Seen on Facebook/DZRJ 8:10 a.m. and YouTube channel DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Radio Bandido.
Well, good Sunday afternoon, everyone. Vivian Velez here, and welcome to Chit Chat with Double V. And, it's going to be an exciting afternoon. I have two special guests with me, my friends in the industry. Well, we're talking about arts. And well, thank you for tuning in. And well, let me introduce already. So ano ba to? Beauty before ano ba? Before Monj. Sige,
Yeah.
we'll start with Attorney Lucille. Nako, medyo talagang matagal-tagal na. I think 2 years ago when we were together, di ba? Okay, so yeah. So let me introduce properly, of course. Our guest today would be Attorney Lucille Karen E. Malilong Isberto is a lawyer with advocacies in forest and cultural heritage preservation. She holds degrees in law and economics from the University of the Philippines, Diliman. She headed the Committee on Monuments and Sites at the National Commission for Culture and the Arts from 2014 to 2016. And she was the chairperson and later executive director of the Nayang Filipino Foundation from 2019 to 2021, a government-owned and controlled corporation mandated to conduct research on humanities and social sciences. She is currently a vice president of the International Scientific Committee on Legal, Administrative, and Financial Issues. Welcome back, Attorney Kay. And you're looking good. Ang haba na ng hair mo. Okay, let me introduce naman before you say greet our listeners. And okay, ito is a good friend of mine, and nakasama ko rin ito mamaya. Papag-usapan natin yung kay because Marilu Diaz-Abaya will be mentioned later on. Okay, to Raymond Diamson, I call him Monj, started his writing career in 2002 as research head of Star Cinema ABS-CBN Film Productions, the leading film outfit, of course, in the Philippines, and wrote the original concept of the country's then biggest blockbuster hit, Ang Tanging Ina. Napanood ko yan ilang beses na. In 2009, he transferred to television, writing, and work in shows such as Your Song Presents, 14, Green Rose, Growing Up, Dahil sa Pag-ibig, Once Upon a Time, La Vida Lena, events such as those TV series talagang mga blockbuster talaga yan. I'm sure marami pang mga fans yan ngayon. And of course, yung mga events na Binibining Pilipinas pageant, ABS-CBN Christmas special, Gawadurian, a number of cable show documentaries. His film credits, on the other hand, include Project Noel, Lauren Legarda Environment, FAMAS awarded film yan, Volta, Sanglaan, Adam Sapot, Tinik, where he was exposed not only in writing, but to other facets of motion picture. So works such as directing, production design, acting, promotions, line production, and talent management. O pwede mo na pala akong i-manage. Apart from this, he served as a member of the selection committee of Cinema One Originals Film Festival and contributed to the creative and publicity needs of Miss Earth International Pageant. He also served time in the government as writer for National Commission for Culture and the Arts, Department of Agriculture, and Department of Health. Nako! Yan pa lang talagang kumbaga busy itong mga ating guests ngayon, and for me to have them on a Sunday afternoon talagang thank you so much at napagbigyan mo kami kasi medyo alam naman pag Sunday syempre bakasyon, di ba? So Attorney Kay, kumusta ka na?
Ito, okay, fan pa rin ninyo.
Nako, ganyan po kami. Fan namin ng isa't isa. And Marge, how are you?
Yes, I'm doing well then. I'm actually very happy kasi we're parang para tayong, sabi nga nila, parang tayong lotus flower na nagbo-blossom ulit from the ashes of pandemic kasi buhay na ulit yung teatro, buhay na ulit ang sining. So I'm really excited and looking forward.
I know, and because I'm a board of trustees, di ba, in FDCP, yung Film Development Council. So I'm FAP is a part council member. of FDCP. And we are talking about it nga na medyo somehow nag-open ang ating mga cinema and nagkakaroon nga ng parang revenge ang mga tao because of marami tayong savings for the last 2 years, I think, dahil hindi tayo mga nakalamyerda. Talagang kumbaga naipon din somehow, and everybody really wants to go go out and experience again cinema, di ba? Okay, so ito po yung pag-uusapan namin this afternoon because recently, di ba, alam naman natin na nagkaroon ng National Artist Awards siguro 2 weeks ago when it was announced, no? So a lot of people doesn't hindi pa rin masyadong familiar, when we talk about National Artist Award. And can any one of you, siguro si Attorney K muna mag-umpisa, what is the significance of having a National Artist Award and what is it really all about?
So it's an award that first started in 1973. It's supposed to recognize yung pinakamagaling na Pilipino. Para sa Pilipino lang po kasi yung award. So kahit based pa dito, pero hindi Pilipino, hindi po pwedeng bigyan. So nagsimula siya in 1973, para ma-recognize sino yung pinakamagaling sa sining, iba't ibang fields. So
categories, di ba? Iba-ibang categories.
Different categories. Yeah. So which include visual arts, music, film, dance, architecture and allied arts. So I'm not sure if that's a complete enumeration, pero ganyan yan. Parang sino yung pinakamagaling na
film and broadcast arts. Yeah.
Yes, film and broadcast arts. Right.
Yeah.
So it includes parang different aspects of film, for example, diba? So hindi lang yung actress, so even the directors are recognized, and then for dancers, so choreographers and performers are all recognized. Same with music. So even those doing research in music, and then singers, they're recognized. But it's an award given by the president para yun, ipapakita sino yung pinaka magaling sa singing.
Oh, we're talking about ULV. How do you spell ULV? The body of works of an artist, diba? Parang Monch, we'll talk about it later, who are the national artists for the 2022, no? Pero there's a first time, diba, na writer, because this is very important to you, right? Na first time.
First time ever kasi parang sabi nga nila, diba, the unsung hero of movies, diba, yung mga screenwriters. And for the longest time, sabi nga nung ating bagong national artist si Ricky Lee, ay madalas ang mga writers ay nasa kanila talaga yung hirap, sa kanila nagsisimula, tapos pati din revision. So it's really parang gratifying, and ang sarap sa pakiramdam na nare-recognize yung ambag ng mga writers sa paggawa ng pelikula. At it's high time din sa motion picture industry natin na na-acknowledge din yung mga screenwriters.
I think Attorney Kay, it started in April 1972, no? But I don't know kung nagkaroon na sila ng if it was a Republic Act that they set up for April. Pero wala pa silang na-announce because it has started, no? Diba?
Yeah, I think that time it was during martial law, so proclamations from the president were as good as a Republic Act.
Is as good as Republic Act, no? So so it's been like what, 49 years or 50 years? Hindi ko alam, baka jubilee na yan next year, or baka dapat supposed to be this year, but no mention of that. So probably hindi pa siya Diamond Jubilee, or hindi pa siya 50 years, no? As they're saying. So yun nga ang sinasabi mo nga sa akin, Monch, talagang, di ba, this after about 49 years or 50 years, ngayon lang na-recognize ang writing, no? Screenplay or script writing, di ba? For films.
And maganda siya, Bibs, kasi ang bibigay kasi ng national artist is yung state, yung estado. So siya yung kumikilala sa ambag ng mga screenwriters.
Correct. Why do you think it took them so long?
Me dynamic kasi yung ano, yung award giving body. So kung mapapansin niyo over the years, nabanggit ni attorney kanina, may mga categories pero depende sa kung sinong administration nagdadagdag ng mga classification, like yung nagkaroon tayo ng National Artist for Fashion, nagkaroon din for di ba, historical literature if I'm not mistaken. So ina-adjust siya over the years, and it's good kasi dynamic siya dahil yung art naman is very dynamic in itself eh.
Correct.
So nagbabago siya, and the more na marami tayong kinikilala, mas maraming naiengganyo talaga to give impetus to what we do.
Correct. I mean, well, of course, sa mga categories, no, music, dance, theater, visual arts, I think, literature, film and broadcast arts, architecture or allied arts, as what they call it. So with those categories so far, siguro medyo, di ba, Attorney Kay, medyo malawak na yon.
Malawak. And then, we have to remember the panel of experts that constituted to pick them. So I guess you can say na, depende kung sino yung nag-nominate. So yung mga nag-nominate pa, very thorough when they're documenting the works of their person.
Let's talk about that, Attorney Kay. Sino ang nag-nominate? I mean, what are the requirements, or may mga requirements ba yan, or category in each categories, at sino ang nag-nominate?
Anyone actually can nominate, but you have to be like an NGO or a cultural agency to be able to nominate. So parang yung marami akong narinig na parang eto gustong i-nominate pero walang NGO na willing mag-nominate. So that's a good thing, right? So even if magaling siya, if let's say yung mga supporters na hindi organized as an NGO or walang government agency na mag-nominate, so important yan. So that before anyone can be a national artist, a group has to nominate that person.
So ang actually nagde-deliberate in all of this is really it was tasked by national di ba, NCCA,
both CCP and NCCA.
CCP and CCP. Oo. So sila yung nagde-deliberate dun sa mga nominees at kung sino mano-nominate.
Yes, but before that, there's such a thing called, I think it's a panel, like special researchers who are going to go through the nomination dossiers of each nominee. So they have to check yung body of work niya, and then come up with that report, and then have that approved by both boards of the CCP and the NCCA before it's brought to the president. Tapos at the level of the office of the president, meron pang awards committee composed of various government agencies, various government officials who then make that recommendation to the president. So marami siyang steps bago ma-award yung national art.
So it has to be approved by the president.
Yes. It's a presidential.
Kunyari, we of course, NCCA and all these people, CCP, they have deliberated. Ang alam ko talagang napakahabang deliberation. Naririnig ko na napakahabang deliberation. It's not that easy, no? Pero at the end of the day, pagka pinasa nila yan kay Presidente, at sinabi ni Presidente, let's say, ay, hindi ko gusto ito. Pwede nga tanggalin. It happened, remember?
I think it happened. Yeah, tinanggal from the list of recommendees. Hindi siya sinama.
Yeah, I was still there in NCCA that time, 2014, ano?
Kwento mga monch, what happened there?
Yeah.
Kasi pumasok yun si Nora Honor sa CCP tsaka sa NCCA, but kasi syempre yung the backstops naman, diba, sa opisina ng presidente, and
that was who was the president then? Noy, right?
Okay. Noy. So parang kung ano man yung judgment niya, kung i-approve niya or hindi, pwede niya i-veto, parang ganun. So parang I've heard na ni-review yung personal background, yung story, kung ano yung mga naging life niya before, para kinwalify yon bilang final basis. So kaya hindi na-approve.
What I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, no? Dun sa mga, of course, narinig ko na rin yan. I think one of the reason kung bakit yata hindi siya kinonsider at that time was dahil, because of drug abuse. Diba? I mean, that was the reason. They were open about it and they said, the lifestyle and all. And I was even questioning that. Kasi sabi kong ganun, so siguro kung si Juan Luna ngayon ay buhay pa. I see, or si of course sino pa yung mga magagaling na artist na because of their persona hindi sila manonominate or hindi sila mananalo, right?
Yeah. Actually parang may parang call ng president kung kasi marami kasing basis ng judgment, yung iba kasi parang ginagawa nila yung kabuuhan ng body of work tapos yung character ng tao. Yung iba naman pinaka-importante yung tatanggalin mo lahat yung negative, yung positive yung ititira mo, yung gagawin mong basis. So talagang nasa talaga siya nasa judgment siya kung sino yung nakaupo na president at yung values niya. Parang ganun.
Well, sa akin kasi walang pakialam yung because it's really the body of work because that's how you're judging them, di ba? It's not kung ano yung ginagawa nila sa buhay nila or whatnot. I mean, of course, Vincent van Gogh was kind of like a cuckoo, and but when we talk about his body of work, nobody can question that. So ngayon, buti na lang si President Duterte see the way it is na hindi naman kaya nabigyan ng si Nora Honor. And this one I have to ask. I can't help it. Paano yung mga Vilmanians?
I'm waiting for we should nominate her. Oh my God.
Vilmanian na si attorney.
Attorney Kay, paano na tayong mga Vilmanians?
Because I'm both, like I really love both of them. Naisip ko, who's compiling her body of work, who's doing the research, because the National Artist Award is given only every 3 years to give time to that panel of yung specialists to do the research. So
correct.
Yung nomination like if you really want her to get that award, kailangan mag-hire na tayo ng magaling na writer and then put all the work together and then say why she should be a national artist, like the way she acted, like if she received international awards, that's part of it And yun nga, yung tanong about personality or in personal life, kasi we're talking about national symbols here. Ito yung mga pangalan na ipapamemorize natin sa mga bata na parang ito yung mga mahalagang Pilipino. So maintindihan mo rin why some presidents would think that way na, no, you have to be pure because you're going to be a symbol of the country. Parang national flag, national, mga ganyan level yung national artist. So, but yeah, kung meron mga nagbabalak na i-nominate si Ate Bia, apipima po ako kung may petition.
Hindi, because when you talk about Nora, definitely there's a Vilma, di ba? I mean, when you talk about body of works, I mean, of course, ito pinag-uusapan lang naman po, no? Kasi yung Vilmanians and mga Noronians. Pero pagka sinabi natin, halos naman para sa akin, pantay lang sila when it comes to body of works. And then...
Sorry, but after you, I have a question for both of you.
And who is she right now? I mean, what she has accomplished, diba? And being in a government, as an elective officer, diba? As a government official. Yes, ano yung tanong mo, Attorney Kay?
Yung tanong ko sa inyo, like, is there like a very active film criticism group in the Philippines? Because I would think that the scholars would be the ones who will be choosing the next national artist, which should be among them, di ba? Kasi parang aesthetic standards or of ano yung paano mo malalaman na magaling ang taong ito? Should it be the peers? Because that's always been a question na naalala niyo yung naging controversial dati, yung mga in-appoint na hindi naman ni-nominate ng NCCA at saka CCP like several years ago. And there were maraming mga fora na ginawa nun Tapos tinatanong nila yan na, kasi that panel of experts is multidisciplinary. So for example, naging member ako nun, wala naman akong alam sa film, pero boboto ako. Okay ba yan? So, kasi what if yung expertise ko, paintings, tapos boboto ako for a national artist for film? That's one of the questions. So I'm wondering, is there like a standard that cuts across different disciplines para masasabi mo na magaling talaga na
Yun nga, that is also my question, Attorney K. Monj, di ba? I mean, who set the standard? I mean, how do you know if a person is a, national artist candidate? Meaning, ang National Artist Awards ba, siya ba yung nagbibigay ng standard? Or siya ba yung nagbibigay ng, in terms of, sa film, no, sabihin na natin, let's say Nora Honor or Marilu Diaz-Abaya and Ricky Lee, those are the three awardees that we have right now na sa films, no? Yan ba ang standard? Kumbaga, yan ba ang magiging pamantayan ng isang mahusay na artista o mahusay na writer or director? Ikaw, Monch, what do you think? Anong take mo dyan?
Kasi when we yung nagsisiking kay Ricky Lee kasi I'm also part of the board of trustees nung pinut up ng Trip to Quiapo Foundation. Yun yung foundation na para nag-aalaga sa mga workshoppers niya at saka sa nagpo-promote ng kanyang advocacy sa writing. Back then, kami noon parang kami yung nagpaplano talagang mag-nominate kay Sir Ricky bilang national artist sa CCP, but we found out na hindi siya pwede kasi conflict of interest kasi siya yung founder ng foundation. So, yung mabuti na lang yung Directors Guild of the Philippines, DGPI, at saka yung UP, sila yung naging proponents ng nomination. So, tinulungan namin, ng foundation namin, yung pagsusupply ng mga body of work, mga records, mga iba pang mga testimonies na kailangan kasi nire-require yun ng mga agencies tasked to administer the honors. So parang yung CCP tsaka yung NCCA, may silang mga parameters and using the proclamation na ginawa ni President Marcos noon, doon yung binabatay kung ano yung mga pamantayan na titingnan para malaman kung yung nominee ay worthy of the honor. So wala tayong specific ad hoc committee or ad hoc board na talagang sumasala. So we just have those two agencies talaga na tumitingin ng mga applicants. Sabi nga ni attorney kanina, anybody can nominate. Basta merong org na legit tapos para magsulong ng pangalan tapos dadaan talaga yung sa masusing screening. So and then after that, pagka pumasa, kasi mahigpit yung CCP tsaka yung NCCA sobrang higpit noon, kailangan talaga detalyado. Then after ng hurdle na yon, dadan pa yung sa presidente kasi siya may final say. So, kung magkakaroon man tayo siguro ng specific word for that, for me personally, kung tatanungin mo, baka masyadong humaba yung process. Kasi parang, di ba yung pinapicture?
3 years sabi ni Attorney K.
Oo.
That's
they can only give
enough.
it every 3 years. Yeah.
Oo.
So,
diba? So that's plenty of time. Really, I mean, I have the list, no, yung order, yung for the recognitions. Kasi one Filipino artist to have made significant contributions to the cultural heritage of the country. So that means, somehow you made some contributions in a way of how you present your art or whatnot. I mean, you cannot just be a really, really good in one and that's it. Kumbaga, meron ka lang ginawang isang magandang pelikula, meron ka isang ginawang, a dance, dun sa dance or na one time, but, recognized. Pero kung iisa lang yun, I don't think that would qualify, di ba? Tapos of course, of course, the identity of the Filipinos, so that at least it na forward yon, no? And of course, yung sinasabi natin, it's really the body of work. Ngayon, tama yon, I think those are the things that we need to understand and somehow i-forward natin in a way yung mga questions natin because may nangyari na ng controversy, di ba? Yung kay Arroyo time yun I think. Oo, yung kay Arroyo. Di ba meron pa nga naging controversy yun na idinagdag, pati yata yung kay Carlo Caparas. Remember?
Same group.
Oo. what do you think of that? Because parang sa akin naging parang elitist na nagkaroon ng ano kasi because comics they don't parang hindi nila kinonsider yon na ang
Hindi siya
comics.
substantive issue hindi siya issue tungkol sa arte, tungkol siya sa proseso. Kasi yung nangyari, there was a list submitted by NCCA and CCP to the president. Tapos nag-appoint siya na wala sa listahan. Dumiretso yung nominees sa presidente. Kaya nagprotesta yung iba na parang you were not nominated to the CCP or the NCCA. So straight to the president.
Went through the process. Walang
No,
process.
they did not.
Oo. So pero ang nabasa ko din is really parang ang comic books are not considered as art.
Isn't Larry Alcala already?
No,
Yes,
it
Larry
was who said that? No,
Yeah,
it was Carlo Caparas.
Yeah, but si
but
Larry
Larry
Alcala kasi
Alcala
is makes comic art, so he's a national artist. Visual arts, basically.
Oo. Pero si Carlo Caparas, because it's comics, pangmasa, parang it's,
so
parang hindi siya comics kasi pero well, not for anything else. Of course, you have to go through the process. But, ang comics kasi parang parang naging part of the culture of the Philippines. I mean, I don't know anywhere else na meron nag-comics na ganyan na talagang nasa mga tindahan ka, aabangan mo yung mga
that's a very valid point. And yun din yung tinatanong at the time, at the height of the controversy, na parang yung gatekeepers ba na nai-invite na maging panel of experts or specialists, elitista ba? Parang eto ba mga tao na to nakaka-appreciate ng comics? Tapos national na ba kung yung nakakilala sa kanya, yung group lang na yan? What if, 'di ba? Ano na yung population natin? Tapos symbol ka na ng country mo, hindi ka naman kilala ng majority. Like no question, for example, for Nora. Parang everybody knows Nora. So, but what if somebody asks that question na, paano maging symbol yung tao na yan for all the Filipinos? And I think, yun nga, maybe it's time to revisit the categories of, or even the methodology by which we pick people as symbols. Sa tingin niyo ba, okay na?
Iconic para sa akin, di ba? Parang, when we talk about the trends and also we'll have to also think about, kasi iconic na yung comics when you talk about kasi nung galing ako nun sa America, of course, okay naman ako mag-Tagalog, lalo na ngayon. But then, before, when I just came from the US, kasi I studied there for many years, tapos pagbalik ko, alam mo kung saan ako nag-practice sa comics.
Same.
Ako nag-practice because it's the language, and then of course conversant yun di ba, yung mga pagka dun sa mga comics. Ikaw ba? Siguro si Monch hindi nagbasa to ng comics ba?
Ay, lumaki ako sa comics, Vibs. As in, ang bata ko talaga, grabe. Sobrang voracious reader ako. And yan, may mga namit ako mga comics legend like si Vincent Cua, yung illustrator writer. Ayun, namit ko yun. So, nag-apply pa akong artist doon eh. Pero malaki kasing ambag ang comics sa ating heritage.
Pablo Gomez! Remember Pablo Gomez?
Elena Patron, Mars Ravelo, di ba? Lahat ng mga
Mars Ravelo.
Zuma and Wakasan and those.
Oo, yung mga ganyan, di ba? Mga naging pelikula pa yan.
Yung tatambay ka sa tindahan para manghiram ng comics.
Oo.
No, I don't know if it's Carlo Caparas. I mean, it doesn't have to be him, but at least comics has to be at least somehow should be.
No one's nominated. I wonder if anyone nominated a comics artist again after what happened.
I hope so, no? Tama.
Diba? Parang if people are not even aware kung paano naging national artist or wala silang resources to make that compilation of body of works, tapos sino yung
or attorney, baka hindi din nila alam kasi yung process. Like for example, Mars Ravelo could be nominated, di ba? Sobrang legend na siya eh.
Yeah,
somebody has to
Mars
do it.
Ravelo. Diba? Who doesn't know Mars Ravelo?
Exactly.
Oo. Anyway, pag-usapan na rin natin kung ano yung mga ano ba yung mga matatanggap na, of course, that, you know, aside from the prestige of being a national artist, di ba? Meron din siya mga meron din siya mga kasamang mga at least goodies.
I guess. Oh.
Meron, di ba? Yung mga, ito, meron siyang parang ang award yata, may cash award na 200,000. You know,
Have they increased it, no? Yeah.
net of taxes, yeah, it used to be 150, I think.
Okay.
Diba?
So,
Now I heard it's 200,000. Tapos may monthly pension na 50,000 pesos.
And lahat ng trabaho nila protected by the state. Bawal, illegal na i-alter or i-tamper.
Really? Oh, copyright and
visual arts. Yeah. May mga yan.
Yeah.
Presumption na important cultural property if it's the work of a national artist.
Yes.
So,
wow, diba? I mean, and then of course, I mean, talking about copyrights and all of that in the Philippines, parang walang respeto, diba? But somehow, with this, mas sila pagka national artist, of course, may hospitalization benefits.
Yeah.
Mga 750, may life insurance coverage. Of course, yung state funeral, no? Dun sa libingan ng mga bayani din.
Yeah.
You know, and then yung may 150,000 sila net of taxes that will be kung deceased na dun sa mga legal heir. Yeah. So, pag-usapan natin, tingnan natin kung sino yung mga national artists in 2022. Of course, Nora Honor, National Artist for Film and Broadcast Arts. Yung Agnes Locsin for National Artist for Dance.
For dance.
For dance siya, no? Salvacion Lim Higgins. This National Artist for Design.
For design.
And ano yung mga niya? I'm not so familiar with it. Ito ba yung si Mr. Meron siya he's very famous. Anyway, of course, si Marilu Diaz Abaya, National Artist for Film and Broadcast Arts. Ito yung sinasabi ko kay Monch na gusto ko rin pag-usapan because we had the privilege to be, under her, yung kanyang madafi. Yung kanyang...
You're so lucky.
We are so lucky.
Sobrang kinilig talaga ako, Vince. Diba? Parang wow.
Diba? I mean, but it's not only the body of works, but how she is really, as you were saying, the national artist, and talagang she's so giving and siya talagang kumbaga dun sa kanyang work as a director, talagang, diba yung niya, Monch, I mean, napaka-generous niya.
Yes, and yung values niya kasi na in-impart yun sa mga filmmaking students kasi hanggang ngayon nagre-resonate pa rin hanggang, alam mo yun, parang nakatanim sa puso mo diba? Yung values na pangahawakan mo na nakakalupot kasi hindi ginagawa ng mga bagong filmmakers yung mga values na yun. Wala na
Oo. So 2 years before she was taken away from us, and yung kanyang school dun sa Antipolo, magkasama kami ni Monch, and it was really an experience. And hanggang ngayon talagang you can, as you're saying, Monch, talagang mafe-feel mo pa rin, di ba, na lahat ng mga itinuro niya somehow na talagang andyan pa rin sa'yo. Of course, si Ricardo Lee for National Artist for Film and Broadcast Arts as well. Hemino Abad, National Artist for Literature. Diba? Akala nila nung una si Ricky Lee was for that. Diba?
Kinorek naman. Kinorek ng NCC.
Kinorek nila. And then si Fides Cayugan Asensio for National Artist for Music. This is opera. Diba? Yung, so those are the national artists in 2022, and then of course yung sa broadcast yung sa atin would be si Nora Honor, Ricky Lee, and Marilu Diaz Abaya.
Si Mr. Tony Mabesa din for theater.
For theater, at least 2022 rin, kasama ba siya?
Yeah.
Nakasama siya for theater. Yeah. Okay. So, maganda yung lineup niya, no? Excited ako dahil 3 yung nasama sa films. And bibihira kasi, di ba? Sa films natin, aside from Nora Honor and of course, Ishmael Bernal, Lino Broca, national artist na rin yung dalawang yon. And yung first natin na, sino yung first, natatandaan ba natin kung sino yung first na national artist?
Si Fernando Armorsolo.
Si Amorsolo.
Yes, for visual arts.
Oo, siya yung first. Wow, that's nice. Okay, so talking about national artists and related ba to sa ating culture? When we talk about as a whole, national artists and of course in different categories. So what does it do with our culture? Meaning, does it define how do we relate it to each other?
I think one of the categories or basis for picking somebody as national artist, yung parang sense of Filipino identity. Nandun sa kanyang body of work na masasabi mo. So parang embodiment na siya of Philippine culture. Kasi naalala ko, when I asked before, and I hope this doesn't become controversial, because I did ask one of the experts, ako, Lisa Macuas, like known for her dancing in ballet and all that, why hasn't she been nominated? And is she going to be national artist? Tapos yung sagot sa akin, yeah, but ballet is not a Filipino form. So I'm wondering, parang, may ganun? What's a Filipino form? If you've already adopted it, I know Agnes Locsin choreographs for ballet. Why is that not Filipino? So kung sinayaw ba ni Miss Lisa Macuha Filipino na theme, mas may chance siya. Tinanong ko lang naman, so hindi ko, yan yung sagot na binigay sa akin sa isang, ayoko na lang pangalanan, pero somebody in that.
So parang sinasabi nila that it has to be straight Filipino, meaning if it doesn't come from us, like opera.
I know, right?
So, hindi naman Filipino opera, di ba?
I asked that question in 2011. So baka nagbago na yung mundo after 11 years. So I don't know if anyone has nominated Lisa Macuha, because that answers my question. So how come si Miss Cuyugan made it as national artist? So yun. So pero yun nga, tanong pa rin yan. So parang when you say na it's contributes to Filipino identity, what do you mean by that? And are the experts the only ones who can tell na ayan, nag-contribute na yan? But that's the reason why people ask, di ba medyo yung category for yung standards for national artists hindi masyadong clear. Parang at the end of the day, it depends on the experts who were picked and the boards of NCCA and CCP and the president. But evolving, maybe it's evolving. When I asked the question in 2011, iba na yung sagot in 2022.
Yeah, because I was saying kasi paano yung arts, does it relate to culture, our culture? Does it relate to when you talk about arts? Kasi parang fundamental ng sense of yung self mo. Kasi once doon ako interesado. Ito, gusto ko rin itanong sa inyo. I mean, can you define culture? What does it mean to you?
Yeah,
what does it mean? Kasi, di ba, how can we even relate to, art is art, culture, how can it be related to culture or something? What is culture? Kasi, ang dami-daming sagot doon di ba?
Yeah. I mean, the most common definition is culture is a way of life. And
reflection of our nation, reflection of one's self, di ba?
Yes.
So sometimes we don't even know that it's part of our culture because we're in it.
Yes, yung mga living culture. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we talk about culture, it doesn't relate to being parang exclusive.
No.
Di ba?
No, actually, tawag dito, hindi ba yung sining, yung art is defined as how we see things, kung paano natin nakikita ang mga bagay.
Yeah.
Yung kultura is how we do things, kung paano natin ginagawa ang mga bagay. So, the fact na nag-uusap tayo ngayon, yung lingwaheng ginagamit natin, yung kung paano tayo kumilos,
Language,
that's culture. Culture yung
Yeah.
kung paano tayo manamit, kung paano tayo, di ba, magbalitaktakan. Lahat yan, culture yan eh. So, yung iba kasi sinasabi nila pag culture daw, parang ang taas-taas, parang hindi nila diba? Lalo na sa mga masa, di ba? Ano yan? Nakakain ba yan? Very vague, ambivalent sa kanila yon. Pero, the fact na ano sila yung the way they talk, the way they dress up, the way they eat, the way they cook, lahat yung kultura yun eh. So nakakain siya. Yes. Sabi nga ni attorney, bahagi ng buhay natin yan, way of life yan. Dynamic yan, nagbabago siya, and walang
idea. Culture is ideas, exactly. Right?
Oo, tama.
Includes ideas. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
So yun nga kasi yung sinasabi nga nila, di ba, pagka wala, kung wala talagang culture, ibig sabihin nun, wala ka talaga. Because, understand, kaya ako pinupunto ito kasi, napaka-importante kasi na maintindihan talaga ng tao. Kasi parating sinasabi na culture and arts, di ba? Parating yung Department of Culture and Arts. So what does it mean? I mean, culture and arts, or is it one? Di ba? Parang ganon eh. Yung relation ng arts to culture, di ba? So, kailangan nating maintindihan in a way. Ako talagang gusto ko rin talaga intindihin because hindi tayo, kumbaga pagka sinabing culture and arts, wala tayong budget dyan. Isang tabi mo na muna. Parang ganon, di ba? I mean, we've been experiencing that, especially dito sa pandemic, na talaga tayo yung talagang huling-huli. Tayo yung binawasan ng budget, tayo yung parang sinasabi nila, hindi importante ang culture and arts sa ngayon, nagugutom tayo. We understand that na syempre, basic muna, yung pagsikmura natin muna ang kakainin natin, ang kailangan natin, pagkain muna. No? But the way we are suffering, even the heritage, pag-usapan din natin yan mamaya, yung respeto, di ba? Sa heritage, nakakabahala. Nababahala ako in a way kasi parang talagang walang-wala na. Like for instance, nasa Netflix na ngayon tayo, lalo na nung pandemic, yung 2 years, no? Talaga nag-pandemic tayo. At ang pinalabas doon is mga K-drama. We were drawn to K-drama. Kayo ba? Nag-K-drama ba kayo? Ako,
I'm a scholar.
Di ba? Parang we were drawn to it and we don't know why, but and then nakausap ko nga si Yorme Isko kasi when he was running for president, and I said because it was very important na kung paano ko manalo, what are you going to do with di ba, with the industry and all, and sabi niya, naintindihan ko kasi sabi niya gano'n, ang mga anak ko nga, hindi naman San Miguel beer na minsan ang iniinom nila. Soju na ang iniinom nila. So meaning, nawala na yung San Miguel. Nawala na yung mga soju na. So meaning, paano yun? Kasi, yun nga, yung pinag-uusapan natin, hindi natin culture yun, di ba?
Well, yeah. But they have many common elements because I've been watching them for over a year. And I really noticed na lahat ng kultura nila pinapasok nila, like their beliefs about life and death and then family. Yes. Tapos subtle, they're always eating kimchi. Tapos parang while you're watching it and they're eating that, parang gusto mo na rin kumain ng Korean food, gusto mo na rin kumain
and the way they eat, di ba? Parang, di ba, very, very communal.
Yes.
I mean, meaning, di ba? Parang, oo.
And I guess their stories, medyo universal, na parang your conflict, your family. The way you want to obey your parents, but at the same time, you want to be yourself. Marami silang ganyan eh. Like, and I think it's common across the world. So parang they were able to tap into those sentiments and then make a lot of dramas na
pero makikita mo sa kanila yung kanilang when we talk about kasi the culture that they have that they were parang portraying, di ba, on a K-drama is really the costumes on the way they dress.
The period dramas, yes.
Yung period na pinapanood ko, meron din naman tayong gano'n, di ba? Kaya lang, Sige, go
Why,
ahead.
why don't we make that? Diba, Raymond, we were talking about that. Na parang for Heritage Month, shouldn't we like make movies and series na that feature period dramas? Ang sagot sa akin, mahal yan eh. So, is that true? Nobody wants to invest kasi baka daw lugi. I mean, we've had a few, right? Like, is it Amaya or something? Dati na pre-colonial. Pero yung gastos nila, you can see na, gosh, all the nice mga gowns and all the silk and ano sila, they have like a library daw in Korea where all those costumes are made. Like, for example, pag gagawa ko ng film, nandun na. I don't need to hire a new researcher kasi ginawa na nila yan. Na pag etong period yung movie mo, eto yung costume. Parang systematic sila because they want to promote their culture that way. So I thought, is that something we might want to have in the future? Na
Yes. Actually, attorney, tawag nito? Ang advantage kasi ng Korean industry is nasa batas nila na kailangan tulungan ng Estado yung film industry.
Subsidized.
Diba? Para yung culture nila kasi ma-disseminate. So, nagko-collaborate sila. Yung sa atin kasi sa atin, hindi ganon. So, producers din talaga yung nagpa-finance. So, kailangan talaga ng partnership para ma-promote natin yung culture natin and para maging excellent yung production values. Kasi, pagka yung kino-compare natin sa ginagawa ng Korea sa ginagawa natin, medyo malayo pa talaga yung agwat. But if we have that, along with incentives, tax breaks, and other support means by the state, we can really go miles, di ba, beyond what we're doing right now. Kasi malaki yung talent natin ng mga Pilipino, malaki yung gutom, malaki yung ating audience na naghihintay. We just need the support of the state and yung set of laws.
Correct. Sayang, di ba, Monch? Kasi yung culture, I think, of course, yung culture natin in a way that, kasi mixed tayo when we talk about, kasi nasa 300 years of Spanish, as you can see, our clothes, di ba, from that era then, I mean, kung native naman talaga ang pag-uusapan natin, of course, we talk about the Igorots and, I mean, yung mga ganon, yun ang talagang, kumbaga, yun ang talagang pinanggalingan natin, no? But then, hindi naman natin pwedeng itapon ang 300 years of, the Filipino and then Spanish. And pagka nakikita mo nga ang isang Filipino na talagang yung bahay nila, may makikita kang, of course, yung mga Baroque style of wood carvings and all of that. But then all of a sudden, may soliya, merong abaka na nakakabit doon na and mixed together. And it's so beautiful.
Yeah,
it is really, ang ganda.
Actually, ko-connect ko yan sa, ni-raise mong question kanina about sa K-drama. Kasi parang gusto ko siyang, the fact that we're watching and we're not really patronizing, but we're appreciating foreign culture and foreign shows and artists. Pwede siya maging positive yung mindset natin kasi na-enrich nila kung ano yung meron tayo. Like for example, yung nabanggit mo yung sa Spanish. So, nagkaroon tayo ng mga bahay na bato, nagkaroon tayo ng uniquely Filipino architecture na galing sa influence ng Spain. Yung sa Korea naman, yung sa current contemporary arts, we watch Korean shows, na-enrich din yan sa atin. So, nagkaroon tayo ng P-pop, Pinoy pop, kasi di ba may K-pop. Ngayon may P-pop tayo. So, and then yung P-pop groups natin, in fact, inaano nila, sinachampion nila yung ating heritage kasi parang ini-integrate nila yung culture ng mga indigenous peoples sa kanilang music and kanilang fashion. So, yun. So, maganda kasi dynamic yung art and culture. So, parang nagkakaroon tuloy ng panibagong art form na pagka kumukuha tayo from other countries. Kaya positive yung mindset.
You're right, panibagong art form. I mean, mix it up, European, Asian, at the same time, of course, meron tayong Asian, definitely Chinese, and, yung ating mga, Japanese even, and put it together, nagkakaroon talaga tayo ng a different kind of identity, di ba?
Si Joey Ayala called it old roots, new fruits, where you
old roots.
dig deep, like our identity and then our ancient culture na magagamit natin to create new forms of art. So I guess that's one way na you can say that where art is related to culture, na art is produced by the kind of culture we have. And then, yun nga, since it's dynamic, it gets influenced.
Yeah, because we cannot be purists, di ba?
I know that's
Because
hard.
merong mga
But
ganun
possible.
talaga, di ba, Monch? Na purists. Sabi ko, how can we be purists if we were, 300 years under Spanish rule? Parang, it's totally so different.
Yes, sabi nga ni Direk Marido, di ba, Biggs, you have to embrace, you have to be adaptive, di ba, to nature. And art is nature, di ba?
Yeah, and then eventually it will merge in a way that it becomes a new form, no?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see it already? Nakikita mo ba yon, Monch? Meron bang ganon?
Na?
It comes to music, dance, architecture. Meron bang ganon na nag-merge na talaga? Do you see when you see a modern or an abstract paint by Arturo Luz, do you see a Filipino doing it? Meron pa ring flair?
Yes, meron. Sa architecture, makikita natin yan, di ba? Nakukuha natin yung mga influences ng mga foreign architects, sina Frank Lloyd Wright, tapos yung ginawa ni architect Leandro Locsin, for example, yung mga brutalist architecture, CCP for example, lahat yan may influences of the past. Tapos sa present, yung sikat na na
Bauhaus, parang Bauhaus
parang
yung CCP.
sa architecture naman yun. Tapos sa music naman, yung rap na parang spoken poetry, among others. Ang dami. Actually, napakayaman niya. And dahil we're an open state, hindi tayo parang tulad ng North Korea na sobrang nakatago. Tayo kasi parang open sa influences ng iba't ibang artists. Maano tayo, makuha tayo, maganon tayo, tapos and then nagkikreate tayo ng bago. Even the way we talk, the way we dress up, nagkakaroon tayo napaka-creative ng mga Pinoy. Di ba, bigyan mo lang ng ganyan, magagawa na siyang bago. So parang nakakatuwa dahil tayo.
Even in fashion, di ba? Sa fashion.
Exactly.
Fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Food, ang dami.
And food.
Mm-hmm.
Yan, isa pa yung culinary. Saan category ba yon? Walang category.
Wala pa sa national artist.
Wala pa. Wala rin yung sa malilika ng bayan, parang wala ring food. So,
Culinary arts, no? Sana meron.
Yeah.
Hindi, because, diba, really, I think, yung culinary aspect in a way na Filipino na, of course, yung adobo is not really, sabi nga nila, ang adobo is a Spanish
no, they're saying it's actually Filipinos na the Spanish. So they just gave the name, but we were already cooking with vinegar daw pagdating nila. Sabi nila, adobo. Somebody wrote an article about that. I think it was a Spanish writer. Na that method of cooking is Asian. So, yeah.
Well, ewan ko, paano yung lechon kawali?
Lechon, I don't know. Tanungin natin yung mga
atsara.
Historians.
Tapos yung mga natin, yung milkfish natin belly, yung mga belly fish na natin na bangus.
Yeah.
Diba? Parang atin lang yata yun eh. So marami naman.
Oo, madami tayo. In fact, diba, pinromote yan ni DOT Secretary Berna, yung food tourism. Kasi we have so much to offer to the world, from appetizers to the main course, to the desserts, sa mga kakanin. When we traveled, nasa NCCA ako sa buong Pilipinas, grabe yung mga pagkain, tataba ka talaga kasi yung talagang rice cakes and all the fruits and all the sweets, na dun mo lang matitikman, parang they're worthy to be discovered and disseminated talaga. Kaya Culinary Arts Filipino is really something to really, document and celebrate.
Paano? Halo-halo ba atin ba yon?
Yung rice cakes, kasi parang sabi nila it's Southeast Asian, like you can find similar things. Pero even in the Philippines, yung one thing like bibingka across the Philippines is so different. Dito lang kasi ako nakakita in Manila na may cheese tapos may itlog. Sa amin it's just plain lang. Plain tapos either yung paano ba yun? Yung iniihaw or binoboil or steamed. So, but you see the variety, yung tinatawag na iba-iba yung pangalan eh. But then you taste it, parang, oh, I know this. So,
Oh, pero halo-halo, wala akong nakikita ha. Anywhere, I mean, kahit sa ibang mundo, wala akong nakikitang halo-halo.
they were saying na Japanese daw yan, pero tayo lang yung
Halo-halo?
like the ice, the idea of ice, crushed ice as dessert. May bingsu yung Korea, di ba? Pero sa atin lang,
bingsu.
ang daming
The
dagdag.
ingredients, kaya nga halo-halo,
Ingredients.
mix,
Yeah.
diba?
Yeah.
So mix. So I think dapat siguro, pero ang hirap yatang ano yun nun, because subjective kasi when it comes to taste, right? Parang paano natin na anuhin ang sa national artist or when it comes to
Sino
food.
kaya yung magiging experts who would do that?
So so yung understanding culture kasi with that kasi yun nga napaka-importante sa akin in a way na otherwise kasi wala nga tayong Department of Culture Arts, di ba? Tinanggal yun eh.
Pwede pa ibalik.
We were talking about that, Attorney Kay. Remember when you guested last time?
When I first met you,
Hindi pa nare-renovate yung Met noon, di ba? We were talking about Met.
that time, yeah.
Correct. And I don't know. Hopefully, this coming this new administration will be able to really somehow focus. Kasi noon, ang alam ko, it was Imelda Marcos who really put that cultural center and all, di ba? And I think na-brush off yan kay Amy, no? We'll see, but kailangan talagang meron mag-advocate in a way na, to see that this culture and arts and all of this has to be, especially with films. Kasi yung films, medyo malaking ano yan eh. It's a money-making industry, di ba, Monj? And I don't know kung marirevive on how we can revive the industry. Pagdating naman sa arts, when it comes to paintings, yung mga ganyan, I think it transcended, di ba? Parang kumbaga kasi, let's say, a painting, pwedeng nag-auction na sila sa Singapore. 'Di ba? Sila ang Kyoko, yung mga Cabrera, yung mga ganun. And millions by millions talagang they can $1 million or $2 million or $3 million even so kumbaga pagkadating sa painting, pero pagkadating naman sa ating mga films, napapalabas naman natin yan abroad, of course, yung ating mga film festivals, diba? It's just that yung sound system lang natin, diba, Monj? We cannot even address that.
Yeah, oo. Hindi, actually, kasi nga, medyo mixed feelings ako because of the state of our archives. Kasi dapat may budget yon para ma-conserve yung ating mga extant mga prints natin, di ba? Pero wala kasing hindi siya napopondohan, so it's a good thing na may yung private sector like yung ABS-CBN nagkakaroon ng sariling initiative para i-preserve. Kaya nakita natin yung bagong version ng Himala, ng Oro Plata Mata, yung, di ba, tinaas nila yung quality ng production. So napapanood ulit ng generation ngayon. Pero mahal kasi yun eh. Tsaka mahal magtago ng mga di ba, ng mga prints. So kailangan talaga natin magkaroon ng budget for that para ma-preserve natin. And I've heard na yung ibang mga prints ng mga magaganda, mga luma nating pelikula, nasa mga antique collectors, binibili abroad. So that's private property. Hindi ko alam kung paano pa mababawi ng estado yun. Pero sana hindi na maulit yun habang meron pa tayong mga available resources.
Pero, good news, kasi nung last na Board of Trustees meeting namin, may budget, binigyan ng budget and in fact, binigyan ng building dito sa Intramuros for the archives. Marami na rin, alam ko it's very expensive, but then sabi nga nila, nahihirapan din daw sila to collect the movies na yung mga talagang classic movies. So, ako, wala na ako because I also produce yung aking paradising, wala na, nasira na. Because we were not able to preserve it, no? But that's true. Kasi medyo, may mga pinalabas, di ba, dun sa sa Metropolitan Theater, nung mga old, yung mga Kibernal, yung sa Kukunang Liwanag, may mga pinalabas na sila mga old And then let's talk about the heritage. Nasa na tayo ngayon dyan, Attorney Kay?
Depende kung anong klaseng heritage. Tangible, movable,
lahat na.
building or tangible.
Umpisahan natin ang building.
Building. Well, my hope before was ma-document ng maayos yung mga NCT, National Cultural Treasures, Important Cultural Property, tapos magkaroon tayo ng maganda na Philippine Registry of Cultural Property na hindi lang Excel file. Kasi ideally...
wala pa tayo? Talaga? Attorney Kay?
Yung database natin, I think it's an Excel file like right now. In other countries, every time you declare something as heritage, it has complete documentation. Everything about it. I'm not sure kung nagagawa na yan. Kaya nung time na bumagsak yung mga simbahan after the Bohol earthquake, parang they had to look for many different sources on how to rebuild it. So I thought it might be good if we start with those that are already declared. All national cultural treasures. Hindi ko alam kung ilan na. Tapos, naisip ko rin na sana lahat doon magawan din ng conservation management plan, which includes a maintenance plan. Kasi alam ko wala rin eh. So, I think maybe we can...
din ang problema doon, di ba, Attorney Kay?
Prioritize, yeah. And tao, maybe even if we put budget, kulang talaga sa marunong yung country natin. So, we need to keep training and then getting more people interested so that they can make a career out of doing that. Kasi hindi yata kasya lahat ng empleyado in the cultural agencies na to be able to do that. So one of the things na I found out in the course of talking about churches, parang wala pa talaga. So it might be good just to review kung alin yung meron, tapos alin yung wala, and then already check what threats those buildings are facing para kung may pwede nang magawa ngayon, gagawin na. Hindi ko alam kung may programa na ganyan. Kasi alam ko, like in Cebu, for example, some churches that were damaged by Typhoon Odette in December, wala pa rin roof eh. Magjo-July na. Hindi, sira pa rin. So, I guess, we need a program.
Yeah, but we're running out of time. I mean, of course, those buildings are not going to be staying there. Without care, di ba?
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's one. Yeah. For me, the good news is there's more consciousness on the part of local government units because they're doing now the cultural mapping and then at least an inventory man lang, and then include that in the conversation na eto yung mahalaga para sa amin, eto yung aming pamana. Kahit listahan na lang, maybe that's a good step just to recognize that those things are important and then slowly build the resources to be able to take care of them. So that's with regards the immovables, the buildings.
I-add ko lang sa sinabi ni Attorney yung tukol sa awareness, positive development din na, di ba, sa Attorney din sa Heritage Act is pag 50 years old and mas older, may presumption na important cultural property yung structure, di ba? So, yung mga developer ngayon, before they demolish old buildings, nag-apply muna sila ng removal of the presumption of cultural importance. So parang before kasi tibag lang ng tibag eh. Hindi nila alam yung batas, hindi nila alam yung consequence na. So ngayon ina-apply na nila yan to remove the presumption.
At least that. May step kasi that's the innovation they introduced after sinira yung high align na building. Wala pa kasi parang this provision in the heritage law is a reaction to that na kapag 50 years old or work of a national artist, kailangan magpaalam sa National Historical Commission or sa NCCA na pwede bang sirain to, wala ba tong national significance. May step na ganyan.
Pero may ngipin ba yan? May ngipin ba yung human na yan?
I think they did file cases against some people. Hindi ko lang alam kung na-convict. Pero dati, parang ginawa na nila yan. Tapos napabayad yata ng fine yung iba. Pero yun, hindi rin.
Well, actually, that's the one of the reasons why yung mga proponents ng Department of Culture bill na ina-argue nila kasi walang masyadong police power yung NCCA. Pagka nagkaroon kasi ng cabinet level yung ahensya, magkakaroon siya ng police power. So mas may enforce mo yung mga batas tapos sa heritage.
Yeah. Well, parang ngayon may power na siya. Medyo hindi pa lang naayos yung mga opisina. Kasi I think they could have done that as early as 2010 when the law was passed. Tapos I think nagkaroon pa ng change when the National Museum transferred all its regulatory powers, including which are among its police powers to the NCCA. Wala nang regulatory powers over heritage buildings, for example, ang National Museum, kasi NCCA na. Pero yung plantilla ng NCCA, I think it's currently undergoing reorganization. So maybe they have a few people. But if you compare it to the way it's done in other countries, medyo kulang pa talaga tayo. Kasi parang sasabihin mo na ito yung standards. Hindi pwede na yun, okay na yun. Parang it's not clear. If we compare with like different states in the US, for example, meron silang mga council who will say na yan okay o hindi, which includes design guidelines. Parang we're not quite there yet in terms of processes and offices that will be in charge of those things. Parang nagsisimula pa lang talaga tayo.
What about our churches? Who's in charge of that? Ang ating mga simbahan. Vatican ba?
They're privately owned.
Privately owned yan.
They're owned by the Catholic Church. And in their rules, it's usually the parish priest who's in charge of that. And we had a treaty with the Vatican, so at that international level, to take care of that heritage. Alam ko, it went down at the national level. It's implemented as an agreement between the NCCA and the CBCP. But the bishops will always tell you na the CBCP has no control over the bishops and the priest. So the priest is supposed to listen to the bishop, has to obey the bishop's orders. So may mga ganun na canon law versus contract law and Philippine law. So parang at the end of the day, you have to make sure that the priest knows na obligation. Tapos, meron naman under the Catholic Church, di ba? Pope Francis, I think, issued Laudato Si, which exhorts everybody to take care of heritage. So yun lang, yung how do we operationalize that on the ground at the parish level.
Yeah. Well, that would be let's continue talking about it kasi medyo interesting, 'di ba? When we talk about our church and all of that. May commercial lang muna tayo and then we'll be back.
Be enlightened with inspiring stories. Interesting biblical features, and insightful interviews with the pillars of our Catholic faith. Power to Unite with Elvira.
Chachahin Mo Baby is a news-oriented program that tackles topical issues and headlines with the support of DZRJ field reporters. Hosted by the legendary Jimmy Morato, Monday to Friday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Radio Bandito TV, Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, digital free-to-air Channel 29, DZRJ 810 a.m., Facebook.com/DZRJ 810 a.m., and on YouTube, Channel DZRJ 810 a.m., Radio Bandito. Chit Chat with Double V with host Vivian Velez is a program that breaks down important national concerns, events, and stories, featuring newsmaker interviews and compelling features to add context, clarity, and answer the questions on your mind. Every Sundays from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. on Radio Bandido TV, Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, GMA Affordabox, Easy Box, and all DTT boxes. Simulcast on DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Seen on Facebook /DZRJ 8:10 a.m. and YouTube channel DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Radio Bandido.
Okay, we're back at kasama po natin dito si Attorney Kay Malilong and of course, Monj Diamson. And we were talking about din kanina yung ating mga heritage buildings, no? And as you were saying, marami nga tayong kailangan pang ayusin when it comes to really documenting, di ba? Yung ating mga heritage building. Pero makikita natin, nakakalungkot kasi parang ang dami nating mga buildings na talagang we can say that in Asia, lalo na rito sa Asia, di ba? Somehow, at that time, medyo mas nangunguna tayo when it comes to progress. So marami talaga tayong mga buildings, no? Especially the one in Ermita, di ba? Yung mga old buildings doon na doon sa Chinatown and even, of course, yung mga ating Spanish dyan sa vegan and all of that, no? Kaya lang, ang dami na rin nating, marami na rin tayong natalo, di ba, Attorney Kay? Like for instance, yung sinasabi mo nga na yung High Alay building.
Yeah. But yeah, with the introduction of the heritage law, marami na rin yung na-save from demolition. Pero hindi kasi ibig sabihin na hindi nga na-demolish, hindi naman inaalagaan, babagsak din yan eventually. So,
Correct.
yeah, I think maybe we need to work faster. Tapos also the idea of preserving not just individual buildings, but the whole neighborhood itself. So yun yung mahalaga, yung zoning na it should be pedestrian friendly, for example, na parang may maganda nga na bahay pero mahirap naman puntahan kasi baka masagasaan yung mga ganyan, more holistic approaches to taking care of heritage.
But do you think kasi parang our society doesn't care? I mean, meaning, yung mga bata ba ngayon, I mean, do they even care of looking for like, you know, a marvel like that na ang ganda-ganda ng bahay, or, you know, like it's 100+ years and all of that? Do they?
There's actually a lot of young people who care about these things. Yung ano lang, translation lang to how to do that. Kasi nga, mahirap naman talaga na undertaking to take care of old buildings. Tapos mahal siya. Especially if they're privately owned and hindi naman mayaman yung may-ari. It's really difficult. Yeah. So in other countries, they do have mga parang tax rebates. Like whatever you spend on heritage, pwede mo siyang i-apply sa income tax mo. I think that's done I think at the federal level sa US. Pero sa kanila, meron yatang requirement na are you using it for business? Because I guess it's a very capitalistic society na ma-apply mo lang yun if merong parang business aspect. But then they do that. In fact, somebody told me na a heritage lawyer in the United States is actually a tax lawyer because it's all about taxes. Then they have, other countries have very strong zoning laws. So if you're in this area, hanggang dito lang yung pwede mong gawin. Tapos babalik sa yung council, tapos ipapakita mo, tapos may mag-i-inspect na pwede, eto, hindi. May guidelines na sinusunod. We don't have that yet. So parang nangyayari case-to-case basis.
Why don't we have those, Attorney Kay?
It's very tedious because it requires research. And then it will say, oh, this zone was prepared, the most important historic events that happened here happened during the American era. So let's make an American era heritage zone. And then, so we study what were the designs then. So how can that be applied with the current buildings? Mahal yan to do that because you need researchers and architects to draw up those guidelines, and then it has to be converted to a zoning ordinance in the city or municipality. So Vegan has that. I think Iloilo has that. There were attempts in Tagbilaran to do that. I'm not sure if it ever got passed. It needs a lot of work.
And you have to be, pinag-aaralan ba yan? You have to be
Pinag-aaralan talaga siya. Yeah. Kasi babalik yan sa art history, architectural history, and then convert that to zoning. So you need to comply with yung mga safety, let's say, setback, how far back from the road? Is it a main road? Can you allow cars in that area? So it needs like a
the government
has to implement.
The government has to take on this. I mean, they have to be like even an LGU, di ba?
Yes. Parang Vegan, because it's World Heritage, they've really been doing it for so long. And I think it took them decades to get to where they are now. Those other places that are still starting out, medyo hit and miss eh. Like sometimes there's an administration that's into it. They start. Tapos hindi na nakabalik. Tapos napag-iwanan. Sayang, like I remember early 2000, there were names like Karkar or is it Pila, Laguna. I don't know if those ever got to the level where Vegan is now. Parang hindi eh. Maybe
parang Vegan lang yata ang existing na we can say that somehow na preserve talaga. I mean as a community, as you were saying, di ba? Na isang buong community, no? So, Monj, kailangan pag-aralan mo na yan.
Oo nga eh. Actually, meron akong gustong erase din na controversial heritage issue na gusto ko din, actually, curious ako malaman kung ano yung take yung dalawa dito. Kasi di ba, sabi nga nila, ang mga vintage houses, building structures, dapat natin i-preserve kung nasaan sila. Kasi hindi lang naman yung structure mismo yung mahalaga, kundi yung location. Kasi ando doon yung history intact, di ba? But lately, nauso yung uprooting. So parang i-dismantle siya and then i-reassemble siya sa ibang lugar to create a park. Yung Las Casas Acusar, di ba, for example. So on one hand, humahanga ako sa gumawa nun kasi nire-create niya yung mga past, yung mga magagandang structures like yung Hotel de Oriente, among others. Tapos, yung mga nasisira na hindi kayang alagaan ng mga heirs, binibili na lang. Tapos, kinukuha at nililipat yung sa park. But, on the other hand, nalulungkot din ako kasi in-uproot mo siya doon sa location. So, yung merong substantial part ng history niya na nawawala along with it. So, ano yung take ninyong dalawa doon?
Si Atty. Kay muna. I don't know.
Ako parang, well, right now, I think some of those things were done before the heritage law. So parang right now, if may gustong gumawa niyan, dapat ipaalam muna sa NHCP. Kasi kung may giniba na walang paalam, yun, that's a violation na, criminal violation of the heritage law. Tapos, mahirap like, I think right now, sabi nila wala na kasing konti na lang yung mga lugar na they're all in one street where you can like really put up a zone. Sometimes you can find them sa dami ng nasira over the years, parang tig-isa-isa na lang. Tapos, ideally, they should be there. But what if wala talagang resources yung owner? Mahirap kasi ipilit na gumastos because I know just fixing those things up could cost millions. And it's difficult kasi tinatanong ko, for example, meron pa bang marunong gumawa ng ganito? Yung that kind of carpentry, mga woodwork, wala na daw eh. So paano mo pa maaayos yan? And it's expensive. So it's really difficult. I can't really say na mali yan kasi masisira din yan eh. Is it better kung ilipat? Although, di ba issue din yon na ililipat mo malapit sa dagat tapos wood? Masisira din yun by the salt in the air. Kaya, tingnan natin.
Well, they said that place, what's the name of that place yung nililipatan nga nila? Well, they said it's beautiful and when you kikita mo talaga yung the effort no that they put in, Kaya lang, I know what Monch is saying, na parang hindi na siya, fake na siya kasi half of that historical it's because of the location na rin, di ba?
Yes.
Sasabihin mo kung saan yung location and all. But yeah, it's ang hirap pa sabihin kung tama ba yan o mali. Ang daming kakabit na pwede, yung nga sabi mo nga, Attorney Kate, paano kung hindi naman siya talaga naaalagaan doon. And then of course the owners then, yung mga heirs, syempre parang they want to make money out of it, kung lalo na kung ang location mo is medyo mahal na yung lupa, no? But then yun nga, it's as much as possible, talagang dapat yun, babayaran na lang talaga sila ng government, for them to be able to ganun talaga, puro subsidies eh. I mean, bibihira yung mga heirs na kaya pa nila, on their own. Marami naman ako kakilala ng mga friends ko, especially here somewhere in Pampanga, and na nandyan pa rin yung kanilang bahay, and they're the one who's taking care of the house. Kasi kaya pa, I think the family, yung mga ganong problema, pag kaya naman nila, gagawin nila It's really just a matter of yung bet. Ikaw, Moj, anong take mo ron?
Yeah, actually naalala ko kasi yung nabanggit mo kanina yung generation ngayon, kung popular ba yung mga
kung relevant pa ba?
Hindi, actually, ako when I ask people, especially yung mga bata, hindi pa rin nawawala yung concept ng haunted house. Pagka kinakabit nila sa mga lumang bahay, it's very negative and it's very derogatory. Sabi ko, don't you find old houses beautiful? Sabi niya, no, kasi nakakatakot, hindi ako papasok dyan, ganyan. So medyo challenge siya kasi parang you have to explain to them na para siyang na-popular.
That's part of it. Part of the charm.
Oo, di ba yung kasi kasalanan din ng mga pelikula natin at saka ng mga comics. Kumabit yung ganong imahe, Pero yung kasing detailed masonry, yung art, yung woodwork and everything, hindi niya ma-appreciate ng mga bata yun. And also the concept of adaptive reuse na lately medyo nagiging popular na siya, especially sa mga places like Makati tsaka even sa Baguio. Yung sinasabi nating charm ng mga lumang bahay, ginagamit nila bilang strength ng kanilang commercial establishment. Like for example, yung mga cafe, yung mga restaurants, mga bookstore, even the fast foods. Pinapreserve nila mismong building, tapos nagiging part talaga siya ng attraction sa place. Kaya yung mga taong pumapasok doon, hindi lang sila, kasi sinasabi ko nga, when we eat, hindi lang naman tayo nagko-consume. Experience lang pagkain, you have to feel the floor. Pagka halimbawa, kumain kami sa Baguio last time, sabi ko, ang ganda ng bahay kasi luma siya, gawa siya sa kahoy. Remove your shoes, tapos habang kumakain kayo, ramdamin nyo yung sahig niya. And then before you eat the food, you smell it kasi grabe yung lasa niya, yung amoy niya. Hindi lang natin siya pinapasok sa bibig natin, kundi lahat dapat ng senses mo. Na-stimulate niya. Kasi that's how we consume food, should be the way. Kasi food consumption is also art. Kasi kung kinakain mo, hindi lang naman yung ingredients, kundi yung kung paano siya niluto, kung paano siya pinrepair. Diba? Dapat you have to appreciate it. Hindi nila maintindihan yon. Sabi nila, bakit? Ipagkain lang naman yan. So ano dun tayo sa ganung estado na yung education ba about arts and culture na there's so much to it para ma-enjoy mo yung mga kinakain saka yung pinapanood mo, yung hinihigaan mo, yung hinahawakan mo. There's so much to it kung malalaman mo how.
Sarah is the of DepEd, I think maybe you can make a proposal and dapat bata pa lang talaga na-instill na yan, di ba? Sa mga mind nila kasi otherwise it's not going to be an acquired parang acquired taste, di ba? Meaning, bata ka pa lang, dapat talaga naintindihan mo siya and as you were saying, yung senses mo and how it feels, diba? And ako nga minsan, I wanted to, kasi yung, di ba pag kumakain ka na, nakakamay ka, and they said, it's the best way of really, the way you eat with the food. Kaya lang, minsan, parang parang nakakahiyaan ng mga bata na, gamitin yung kamay or something na parang it's not, kasi parang nagkakaroon ng social class, ba't ka nakakamay yung mga ganyan? So, hindi natin siya pinapasok na, well, that's part of our culture because that's how we eat, di ba? As a Filipinos na talagang, hindi lang naman tayo in some Asian countries, di ba, ganun din. Meron din silang ganun.
In Quezon, di ba, you have this pancit hab-hab na ginaganon mo? Hindi mo siya kinukutsara, talagang inaano mo sa bibig mo. Hab-hab. That's the word.
Ganun ba yun? Hindi ko pa na-experience. Kailangan ma-experience ko yun. But anyway, Monch, do you need to promote something or do you need to...
thank you. Thank you, Vic, for the...
10 minutes.
For the opportunity. Hindi, kasi ngayon, I'm actively collaborating with Attorney Vince Tanyada. He's an multi-award winner sa Aliw Awards, and an artist, a director, and writer sa pag-restore and pag-popularize in theater arts. So they're very active in mounting shows about our history as a Filipino and about our experience as a Filipino din. So madalas sila before sa mga schools, but ngayon meron silang tinayong Philippine Stagers Foundation Black Box Theater. So it's located in Balik-Balik, Sampaloc, Manila. It's open every Saturday night. And
What's the name? What's the name of that?
Bali, Philippine Stagers Foundation, that's PSF, Black Box Theater. So ano siya,
Black Box.
Yes,
Okay.
Black Box Theater is the first of its kind in the Philippines kasi kino-combine niya yung experience mo sa mga bar wherein you drink, you socialize, you eat, and at the same time, may show. Ang show niya play, as in legit na play. Hindi lang talaga siya parang nagpapatawa, kundi merong art form talaga involved. And usually, every night, Vince, punta kayo kay attorney.
Yes.
Isama ko kayo doon one time. Every Saturday night, usually may mga 5 one-act plays about everything. May comedy, may drama, merong historical. Tapos, yung mga workshoppers niya kasi nagtuturo siya ng theater workshop. So, minsan nagre-recital sila doon. And then sometimes, they also have professionals. Ganyan. And after that, merong comedy show ng mga drag queens. Tapos, may open mic, open stage show. It's very fun experience. And at the same time, it contributes din dun sa theater arts natin. Kasi nakakatuwa, ang daming tao, mga bata. And then they're learning to appreciate art, theater arts. Kasi di ba usually sinihan lang yan in concerts. Na-appreciate nila yung mga theater actors, tapos ang daming gustong sumali sa workshop, tapos na-appreciate nila yung kwento, kahit minsan malalim yung mga kwento talaga, na-appreciate nila. So, with the opening of the Metropolitan Theater of Manila, and then itong PSF Black Box Theater, I hope we can all link arms to promote the same. Kaya, ayun po na kayo every Saturday night, 6 p.m. sa Sampaloc, Manila. And you can, sa Facebook siya, just, i-type nyo lang yung PSF Black Box Theater.
Black Box. Well, that's good, ha? Matagal na ba yan? Or
bago pa lang din, naka 7 Saturdays pa lang siya. So, eventually, ang target is maging, gabi-gabi. Pero ngayon kasi simula pa lang siya. May introductory price na entrance fee for just 100 pesos lang. Kasi nagpo-promote pa lang siya. And very affordable din yung food doon. And maganda doon, you can interact with the actors. Kasi every performance, you can give your comments para marinig nila direct from the audience kung paano sila na-apektuhan. And you can mingle with them afterwards. Kasi para siyang Hoseng Batute, theater sa CCP.
Yes.
Na nakapaligid. Ayun. So you can, very experiential. At saka medyo matatapang din yung mga palabas. Kasi dahil siya, hindi naman talaga siya restricted by anything. Lahat ng tema nandun. So, ka talaga doon? Pag nanood ka talagang wow. Makikita mo lahat. Yung kinakatukutan mo, yung mga bagay na usually considered taboo, makikita mo siya. Pero at the same time, mapapaisip ka kasi, medyo dumadaan din naman siya sa strict screening nung may-ari. Kaya, pag uwi mo, combined experiences lahat yung maiuwi mo kasi nakapanood ka na ng play, nakakaroon ka ng bagong friends, tapos nag-enjoy ka pa. Yun.
Well, that's, syempre definitely, pupunta ako dyan.
Pinromote na nga kita doon, Vic. Sabi ko, dadali ko yung kaibigan ko si Vivian. Mag-comment siya.
Mag-comment ako?
Oo, sa mga nag-perform. Magkano tayo Madafi?
Sige, one of these Saturdays, siguro baka itong coming Saturday, pwede ako. So I can watch them. And Okay, siguro in closing, we know that yung question natin, can we exist without culture? Can we do that, or is it still relevant? Siguro we can close on that, on what you think, and go, Attorney Kay.
Parang culture is part of us. Parang it can't really be separated from who we are as human beings, because it's that element that gives us our identity. So siguro if we remove everything cultural about us, then we won't be any different from any other human being. So parang tayo pa ba yan pag wala yung ating identity?
Yes.
So maybe it's that.
Yes. Yeah. Ikaw naman, Monj.
Ang kultura kasi sobrang importante sa buhay natin mga Pilipino, kasi ang kultura hindi lang naman tungkol sa sayaw, sa pag-awit, sa pag-arte. Tungkol to sa pag-iisip natin kung paano tayo maging mabubuting mamamayan. Kasi kung palaging, for example, na pag-iisip natin na hanggang dito lang yung maaabot natin at masaya na tayo doon, that's culture. At hindi tayo uunlad kung ganun tayo mag-isip. Palagi lang may nagtataas ng mga bilihin, hindi natin maabot yung, hindi tayo makasabay because of our culture of that mindset. Pero kung itataas natin yung pag-iisip natin, yung ambisyon, pangarap, para sa mas mataas na buhay, mag-aaral tayo, magpupursige tayo para magkaroon ng mas magandang buhay. If we have that culture mindset, maabot natin yung hinahangad nating maunlad na Pilipinas kung saan lahat tayo hindi servants, kundi mga CEO.
That is nice. That is nice. Sa akin naman, kasi ang culture is really a reflection of a community or a nation. So napaka-importante nito in a way that how we are defining it, and kung paano tayo matutulungan ng ating gobyerno. Kasi para sa akin, if we will not be able to really sustain, especially on what is happening now. But then hindi natin siya pwedeng talikuran at basta ibaliwala, no? Because I think it's really very, very important. Otherwise, if there's no culture, there's no society at all. Wala tayo. So with that, thank you so much dito sa aking mga guests, si Monch Lamson, and of course si Attorney Kay Malilong. Talaga namang ito yung mga advocates talagang walang kasawa-sawa na tumutulong sa ating mga kultura. Maraming salamat sa inyo, and God bless, and we'll see you again soon, and then see you Saturday, Monch.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you, Attorney Kay.
Thanks for having
so
us.
much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The views and comments of the hosts and guests